Hey, this is Writers Row. I'm DC Wright-Hammer. If you like the content that I've been putting out on here, make sure to subscribe down below and give this video a thumbs up. This week I have a couple of special guests I'm going to let introduce themselves. Let's start with our friend from the north first. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan. I write under the name R. Tim Morris. I live in Vancouver all my life, and I've written 4 novels, and I'm working on a 5th and putting together a collection of indie author short stories right now for an anthology. So busy.
And our other guest?
Hi, my name is Jenny, and I write under Jae Vel. I write poetry and I write thriller type novels. Mm-hmm. I am working actually on editing my first manuscript, and I live in Michigan. So hey, that's me.
So we're glad to have you, and I brought Ryan and Jay on this episode because I want to talk about something that is happening to most of the people in the world, definitely happening to people in the U.S. and Canada, but there's this stay-at-home order in most places, and it has been for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks. And I wanted to just get writers' perspective on how that has affected them. Now, my goal was to get multiple perspectives, and I've mentioned to others, I'm working from home currently, but I want to get the perspectives of the people, other writers, how the situation we find ourselves in with this illness, pandemic worldwide, how that's affecting us as writers and people, and just kind of getting some insight into where we're at. And so I wanted to start with Jay. Jay, tell us, number one, your profession, and then kind of from there, how has the last 6, 7, 8 weeks affected you as a writer? And feel free to throw in how it's just affected you in general.
Okay. Well, I'm a registered nurse, but I'm also a case manager. So when this all started, we were still doing, I worked doing home visits. So we were still doing home visits, but screening people, making sure we were okay to go in the home. Like right at the door, we would ask them, are you having any fever or anything like that? But then our company changed and said that we are going to do things from home. So I have been working actually from home, doing virtual visits through Teams and doing phone calls. And a lot of my clients do not have like internet access, so it's a little bit difficult to do my job. Very stressful, and having to bring my work home. Actually, I refuse to put my work laptop on my writing desk, even though it's more comfortable, because it kind of messes with my whole creative area. So my work stuff is actually all on my kitchen bar area. Mm-hmm. But it's overtaking my life. At the end of my day, I find myself I'm working more. I'm doing more phone calls. I'm answering a lot of calls for people who are stressing out and concerned and scared, and so that's kind of seeping into my life as well, my personal life. So for my writing is not going as well as I wanted it to be. I had set goals for for March and for April, and I have one for May. I'm hoping I can do May, and I haven't been able to hit them because I am exhausted, emotionally, physically exhausted just from working here at home and having to hear every morning all the new cases that came into the hospital and making sure my patients are not going to the ER for anything unnecessary to try and prevent any more spread, and screening everybody that I call. So it's been stressful.
And Ryan, why don't you kind of tell us, your profession, what you normally do, and then, how this has been affecting and in your writing life as well.
Yeah, sure. I work as a library technician in Vancouver at a private school. And obviously school is not in session right now. They're doing online classes. I'm not in the faculty. I'm not teaching department, so I'm not really involved with that. But I mean, I'm still working from home. I'm doing Monday to Friday from home, and just part of my role is making sure online resources are accessible and everything's updated. And we're ordering a lot more ebook and e-audio resources than we were. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as busy as I would be if I was at the school, but I work for a really good corporation, and they're willing to just have me do something to keep me working. So it's not. It's different working from home. I have 2 kids, and my wife is she's a teacher as well, so she's working from home. So during the day, we're kind of just juggling being busy with work and keeping the little guys busy with things, which is difficult. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't really affected my writing schedules because I try to use the evenings to write. Not every night, usually when inspiration hits me. For most of this year so far, I've been writing pretty good, 4 or 5 nights a week, and yeah, so I can still do that. I can still work through the day and juggle the kids and still go back to the writing. It's I'm kind of a homebody anyway, so leaving the house is staying home at least is nice to a point. I try to get out to get some fresh air when it's not raining, and yeah. But yeah, life has changed, but it hasn't really affected me on a day-to-day basis too much.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, and I think I'm in a similar boat as you, Ryan. My wife works full-time from home. I work full-time from home. But I do actually find that I am working a little more, like Jay had mentioned, that when I'm done working, I feel more exhausted than normally I would be commuting. I have an hour and a half commute into the city of Chicago, driving to the train station, taking the train into the city, walking to my office. And that was tiring. There's something for me, and part of it is just, it's just the kids. My kids went from having, their world was already fairly small, their school, their friends, and all that, to being just our home and our neighborhood when we get out for some walks and things like that. And that's their world now. And so that's been tough for me. I tell them I love them as much as I tell them, sorry, I'm in a meeting. And that's been tough for me. Like, they're hearing me say, hey, I'm in a meeting. Hey, I'm in a meeting. Hey, I'm in a meeting. Because they're kids and they want to live their lives and they want to have fun and they want to learn and they want to do the things kids do. My writing, I had mentioned in a previous episode that I hadn't been writing anyway, but from a creative outlet, number one, it hasn't made me want to write more. Like, I write somewhat dystopian, somewhat futuristic. There is actually a lung disease in my novel that is part of the plot. And so I'm just kind of like, no. But from a creative perspective, it has made me want to get on Writers Row more often, put out more videos for people because we have the time, and just, connect with new writers and writing community, connect with viewers on YouTube and things like that. And so that's another reason why I wanted to bring you all on, is to just, let's just connect, let's talk. And so I think, Jay, going back to your point, since you're starting to realize, you're starting to see this effect is having on your writing, and a lot of states on the state side, we're talking about going to phased reopening of the economy and things like that. How do you see things evolving for your writing? As we maybe go back to the new normal or whatever it is after we start this whole process of reopening over the next month or two.
Well, as of right now, my boss and my boss's boss is talking about us still working from home until the end of the summer, even if it starts to reopen, to keep us safe and healthy. Yeah. So I'm not sure if how that'll work out with me working from home. I mean, I like working from home. Like, I am a homebody, but it is it's messing with my flow of things.
Yep.
Definitely. I'm not sure if once it starts opening up. I mean, Michigan's been one of the higher ones here besides New York, with all the cases going on and deaths, and not sure how, if the peak, it's supposed to be not supposed to peak until like later on, the late summer or the fall, according to what my hospital is saying. So I think that I am going to be working from home for a while, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Okay.
At least from the medical perspective world.
Yeah.
So I'm reading, I don't know.
No, I think that's important. I think that's good to put it in perspective, especially for others that are watching, and especially for other, especially like essential workers and people that are putting in the time and effort like that. Just kind of hearing and putting into perspective where we're at right now, and this is early May. Ryan, from your perspective, you've kept the writing going. You're sort of, you're sort of insulated, and to some extent, I feel that too. I feel somewhat insulated that I do have a job still. I'm still working, and I'm also a homebody. In fact, the while I'm more tired at the end of the day, there's like less stress. I don't know how to exactly put it. There's less stress from the job. There's just more stress from the global situation that just, you try to put on a happy face, especially for the kids. You try to keep things as normal as possible. But from your perspective, Ryan, are you just you're gonna keep writing? You're just gonna kind of keep things as normal as possible from here until things change or go back to some kind of normal?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I mean, like a lot of writers, I'm a bit of an introvert too, but I didn't realize just how much I missed, seeing people at work every day. So I mean I think that does more damage than we realize. Just, I mean, the idea for a lot. Oh, I'm isolated for a while. That's great. I don't have to fake small talk or just see that guy every day.
Yep.
But I kind of miss that guy. He's part of my day, and just taking that element out and just being home all day. Yeah, it's tough. Even though my schedule, as far as I work during these hours, I write during these hours, that hasn't changed. But there has been a change. So I mean, it is adjustment. Typically, I don't work in the summer, so I mean, I would have been working till the end of June, and then have a couple months off before the fall. So that likely won't change. And I'll still just keep busy with writing. I mean, I just finished up a draft for my next book, and it's out with a few readers right now. And like I said, I'm putting together a collection of shorts as well. So I mean, I have enough on my plate to keep me busy.
Yep.
And I need that. If I'm not creating something, then I get a bit miserable, and I just need that release. So it's important. I have to work it in, and I'll find a way to keep doing that.
And you do find that writing is still, you're able to, escape. You're able to take yourself to the story. You're able to put yourself there still, Ryan?
Yeah, there's definitely days where you sit down with best intentions and nothing happens. And I mean, at the stage I'm at with my projects, I'm not doing a lot of writing from scratch anyway. It's a lot of editing and reading other people's work and just kind of prettying things up. So a bit of the creative side of things has been removed. But yeah, it hasn't been too bad to just get back into that work mode for me.
Very cool. Jay, if you had to give, you said you're a registered nurse, but mostly you're doing the casework right now. But if you had to give any kind of advice for, other writers and writing community who, are experiencing, are working in the healthcare field and things like that, does anything come to mind? Is there anything you'd like to share with others?
A huge thing that we're doing is talking about self-care. Because even though I'm working from home, at any moment I can be pulled into the hospital because I am a registered nurse to work if I'm needed, if the numbers go up high enough. So I still have that kind of in the back of my mind that I can get pulled at any moment.
Yep.
But I think that a main thing that we work on is self-care and how important that is. And even just taking a walk or shutting down after you finish work and just some meditation, listening to music, doing something that you enjoy for like 5 to 10, 15 minutes. It does a lot to help. I may not be writing on my actual story that I'm working on, but I am writing thoughts and journaling and doing things like that to kind of help get some of the stressors out from the day and what's going on in the world. So I know things like that would be good. Even if you can't write down your work on the actual work in progress, I think that just writing some words down and doing self-care, it's huge. Self-care looks different for everybody. For me, it's meditation and taking walks and doing like yoga at home.
Yep.
That's my self-care. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important. I think people have called healthcare workers like superheroes, and there's sort of the back and forth on that. It's like they really deserve so much more than a title. But I think someone like myself, whom I can speak for, I'm in awe of people who do healthcare work, who go in day out, and so self-care and just looking out, and I think this goes for everybody who's not an essential worker or in the healthcare field, doing anything you can to help out those people and to reach out to those people and to make their lives easier. I've seen a lot of people donating supplies and food and all kinds of things like that, and I think that's great, and that's something that I want viewers of this show to remember. You're giving the advice firsthand. Self-care is very important. I'm giving the advice of take care of those people who are doing the things that just keep the world running when we've had the weirdest experience ever.
Yeah.
And Ryan, the writers who are, their heads down, they're still writing, they're doing, what writers do. Any advice, anything you want to put out there for them to, just kind of offer at this point?
I don't know. I mean, I think going into this, a lot of writers kind of were, I don't want to say excited about it.
Right.
They had the hopes of getting a lot of work done because it meant, just more time and getting reading done too. That's differed for a lot of people. I mean, I'm reading less than I thought I would, but I'm writing a bit more. Other people are the opposite. Some people are doing less of both. Some people are doing more of both. But I think it's all mental and how you cope and your environment too. I mean, it's factoring in whether you have someone else with you, whether you have children there, whether you're still working, whether you're leaving the house, whether you're working from home, and then just everything else that life is. It's different for everybody. But for me, it was important to keep writing and keep working on something, and I think for a lot of people, that is true as well. So just don't lose focus, I guess. And yeah, I mean, if you're a writer, that means you have something you want to write about, something you want to say, and hopefully this doesn't change the fact that you want to say something. The things that you want to say may have changed a little bit, but keep going. I mean, if you have it in you, then you'll keep at it, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
Exactly. No, and I think that's important. We're all dealing with this, and we're trying to do the best we can. And I'm glad that there are people out there that can still maintain a word count. They can still pump out a chapter. They can still do those edits, things like that. They're still important things. And I think that's tough to put in perspective when we're faced with global pandemic. That the things that were important to us before, yeah, you might have to shift priorities. You might have some things that take it away. But there's a reason why you declared yourself a writer. There's a reason why you do the things you do. And it's important to maintain that, even in the face of adversity. Don't let something really negative change something really positive about you as a person, something that is at your core. And so that was really the whole purpose of this episode, is to really just get our thoughts out there and to talk to the viewers of this, other writers and writing community who might be going through something similar. I do end episodes offering the opportunity to promote anything that you'd like to promote. And so, Ryan, I'll start with you. If there's anything you'd like to promote as part of being on Writer's Row, feel free to go ahead and pitch that, and I'll make sure it gets in the description down below.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge into self-promoting, but I'm sure my website will be included in the links there. But yeah, I'd just like to make a shout out to a friend of mine. She does a writer's kind of book coaching, book editing, and query editing business, and it's called Polish and Pitch. And that's my good friend Jamie Dill. She's quite active on Twitter as well, and she's great. She's positive, and she does a lot of good work for people, and she's a big help. So I mean, if anybody has a manuscript that needs editing or a query that needs work, give her a shout.
Very cool. Nice. Jay, anything you'd like to promote?
Not really. I haven't published anything, and I don't really have anything right now. Well, maybe, yeah, my one of my best friend, he'll be releasing his second book. Matt Seska will be releasing his book, The Forbidden Scrolls, as part 2. That'll be coming out this summer, hopefully. I was a beta read for that and help with some edits, so I guess that one. Yeah, since I'm helping with one.
Writers Row advertised the first book in that series, so it's good that you promoted that. We'll make sure you get a link in the description down below.
Not so forbidden, huh?
Exactly.
No.
I'm not trying to trump either one of you, but my promotion is going to be support local businesses. Whatever you have, whatever you can do to support local businesses, and like we said earlier, healthcare and essential workers. Just whatever you can do. Even gestures. As I take walks throughout the neighborhood and kids have written in chalk, "Have faith." Things like that. Little things that you can do with your time, energy, and if you have it, a little bit of money here or there. That's the only thing that comes to mind when I talk about promoting on this show right now. It's an interesting time. We can persevere. There'll be a new normal, whatever. But I think if we can keep our humanity throughout this, we can continue to connect to other good people. It doesn't have to be as gloom and doom as the media presents it. There can be a lot of bright spots that happen as a result. So Jay, Ryan, I appreciate you both coming on the show. Ryan, any last words before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Just write. Keep writing.
Keep writing. Jay, you got anything?
I would say keep writing as well through all of this chaos that that's going on, but also to piggyback on what you said is to help the local businesses, restaurants, and any local businesses that you can, for sure. They're in dire need of help and support.
Awesome. Again, appreciate y'all coming on, and Writers Row viewers, I'll catch you next time. Take care.